Right, welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. Here we go, game number 2 coming at you. ZOTAC Cup Masters Southeast Asian coverage. Mineski versus Clutch Gamers. Of course, Mineski up 1-0. Pretty solid victory for them. I mean, both sides actually definitely had their good points, and Clutch Gamers looked good at times, but in the end, Mineski, especially Mushi on that TA, just simply started to snowball too much. The composition came together and ultimately took the game. So here we are now, game number 2. I'm Bricky CBK, joined by PQMZ. We got a different style of draft here. Axe is the only similarity so far, but a Warlock Axe. Look at that Nyx Lina, though, coming out for Clutch Gamers here.
Yeah, it looks like they want a different way to set the tempo through the game. Because last game they really relied on their supports to make things happen.
Reserve time.
And when they weren't able to connect with things in the laning stage because they were playing like completely reactionary. And then it got to the point where Mineski were just strong in fights, they couldn't really do anything. So whether the leaners are core or support, they have more ways to initiate fights, and that should favor them. But I really like Axe Warlock. The synergy is just really strong at all stages of the game.
Well, we got some bans to follow now, but Warlock, yeah. Now, Warlock's just, if you're looking for a support that not only is going to bring some, obviously one of the best teamfight presence abilities in the game with that golem of his, and also happens to do decent damage in fights with those fatal bonds. Sometimes can even lead the damage charts in fights because of it. It's definitely a good hero to be picking up, but not one we see, all the time. With that said, I mean, why do you think Warlock maybe isn't? What are his weaknesses as to why he's not picked up?
5 seconds.
Well, definitely the fact he has one stun on like a 3-minute cooldown.
Radiant team pick.
As opposed to heroes like Rubik, which have much lower cooldown and stuff. But I think you have to compensate with that for your other heroes, and not every team's willing to pick these cores that play on a lower cooldown or play in a less greedy manner. So
yeah.
In the SEA region, Warlock seems to be a lot more popular than any other. I think it's mostly just because they like to fight more and they use the hero more for the bonds and the heal as opposed to having the ult constantly.
Dire team pick.
Well, we're going to see that come into play here, and now Clockwork to go with that theme, the idea that they want to be aggressive, but interesting because they had an axe already. So one of these is going to end up possibly being more of that 4 position.
10 seconds remaining.
Instead here, is there either one you would lean towards being the more efficient, the better 4 position compared to the other, or?
I'd imagine Axe gets more farm priority, but they might do it where Clockwork starts in the off lane and Axe starts in the jungle, just because it's better than having Axe start in the off lane and Clockwork roam around the map and try to like get kills at level 1 or zone an off laner. It's just more effective use. But I really like the clock here. It creates a lot of issues for Lina. When it used to be like the Lina Leshrac patch, Clock was one of the best heroes at dealing with her because she doesn't want to buy Force Staff. She's extremely weak to heroes that get in her face and stop her casting spells. And you don't see Clock very often, but they also have the cheese with SF now, but I think it makes a lot of sense.
If you're planning to get Shadow Fiend, you want to try to get that Clockwork. It's pretty much what... I mean, it's kind of interesting because, I mean, that's only one thing in the game, right? Where he spawns a Cox at the beginning, he gets those denies, and thus he gets souls at the beginning. I mean, is it really worth that, like, that investment? Like, how powerful is that? Why do teams make a priority to do that?
First off, I'd say it's not worth it if you don't have a plan to use for Clock in the game, or if he matches up badly throughout all stages. But if you can fit the hero into your lineup and make it feel worth having, then it's game breaking. Because SF he's meant to be bullyable in the first few minutes.
5 seconds remaining.
Especially against Lina. Like, Lina's one of the best heroes at shutting him out from minute 1. But you can't do that when the hero has like 80 damage. It's just unfeasible. It makes the hero so much stronger. Yeah. And they have natural synergy throughout the game as well. It's not just like you pick it
Dire
for the
team
cogs.
ban.
Clockwork being able to initiate and Shadow Fiend having the vision from that makes it a lot easier to play the hero. I really like what Mineski have here. So they've got multiple ways to set up team fights, and they've just got the one core hero to play around, which is going to be, while he's fairly immobile, the rest of the team makes up for it. Clutch have ways to deal with it, but it feels a lot more finesse-based. Like they have to get in and out, or they have to get quick picks, or they have to have a lot of vision of where they're fighting. So Mineski have multiple ways to counter-initiate, and so many ways to go through Rage as well. You can't just use a bomb, Rage, and get a kill, because Golem, Call, Hook, they all go through.
So trying to think of the final picks for either side. Again, Clutch Gamers, it kind of depends where you think that Nyx is going to end up. I think that 4 position seems like it's where he's usually been ending up as of late when we happen to see him. But, I mean, the off-lane Nyx is still a thing, too. But Mineski being a Bat Rider here, so perhaps under the impression that it is that 4, and they'll still need the off-laner.
I think they need like a Ricky hero here.
Ricky? Okay. That's a lot of invis.
It's mostly because Nyx as a 4 is very, very passive. And their lineup is very active in the early stages, I think. Or they need to be active early and stop Mineski getting to a comfortable point of the game. Like, they have decent lanes, but the heroes don't accomplish that much if you can unsettle them. And I think one of the worst things they did last game was they sat top of their 2 supports in a lane that they weren't accomplishing much in. Sure, the Axe didn't get a lot of farm, but their other heroes got so shafted because of it.
Radiant team pick.
This is like a different way to look at it, I suppose. Gives them a way to cover their Lina in fights. I'm not so sure I like it, but Omni is a very, very prized hero in SEA, it seems.
10 seconds remaining.
He definitely brings the counter initiation for the team, that's for sure. Remaining. As far as, you know, again, you look at the Warlock ultimate, they got the Shadow Fiend follow up with the big Requiem of Souls right there. It's a great way to respond as Axe jumping and Clockwork, whatever. So you can kind of see the idea there from the Omni Knight, much more of a passive play to go along with overall what is a very aggressive lineup, though. So
it just feels like you do this with a hero like PA or someone that isn't Nyx. Like, he doesn't need the Omni hero. And Lina, if you can start the fight for her, she generally doesn't need it either because she can play on the outskirts. This is obviously like the response to the clock as well. But I don't know. I feel like Mineski have a much easier time if they have passive heroes on Clutch. And also, they don't really have a way of getting vision in the fights that isn't Nyx walking in. Ricky can do it at a much safer position because once the hero gets a blink or you just ulti blink to your team, there's a lot more ways to scout the heroes. And Mineski has so many ways to counter-initiate. If you can find the Warlock or the Axe before you go, and then Nyx jumps on another hero, it makes your fight a lot easier. And Omni's more of a steroider. I don't know. I think they have problems.
And a Slark definitely seems like just an overall solid pick to finish things off here. What is Team Red for Team Mineski over here? 4 out of the 5 heroes at least. Looking at that theme there, but yeah, they get their solid 1 position hero that's going to be able to set up individual kills and also potential for that diffusal blade, which definitely can be good against the likes of the Omni Knight, of course, and something to keep in mind too. So yeah, I think you're a similar idea that feels like Mineski perhaps. Getting a stronger draft here, at least on paper. As far as what they're
kind of doing the same thing they did last game, where they just have these 2 cores that are ideally going to get accelerated through their supports and the amount of space they get on the map, and then they're just going to move these heroes around the map with the 2 or 3 heroes behind them, wait for Clutch to do something, and then counter-initiate, because they have so many ways of doing it. And the way you unset that is play at a pace of the game that they're not ready for.
Yeah.
I don't think they can necessarily do it. I think this Lina has a lot on her shoulders. She needs to do really well in a lane that she's going to have a huge disadvantage in because of the cogs interaction. I don't know.
Well, here we go.
Doesn't feel good.
Clutch Gamers Trying to have to clutch this game number 2 to force the third and final game. Obviously on the verge of being knocked out, though, in a single elimination. Now, again, to be clear, though, this is one of 2 Southeast Asian qualifiers, so worst case, you do have a second chance as far as still qualifying for that big $100,000 land set to happen in Taipei in the month of May.
DSF messed up. He didn't skill Necro for the first set of cogs.
Oh.
Come on, Mushi. This isn't hard.
Sometimes you just forget the simple things. Well, so he's going to maybe be not the maximum.
He should still get at least 12, which is enough.
Now look at CG, because, you know, whenever you're going up against a Shadow Fiend Cloud, you pretty much know this is going to be happening. So you have time to make your play in the map and get down that vision. And look at this very aggressive ward here off the bat from Clutch Gamers.
Yeah, this is smart. This is really, really smart. They're definitely stronger at level 1.
He actually only gets 8 souls so far.
Yeah, well, they're moving out, and they're going to do it from the rune as well.
Yeah, they're going to do it right here.
That's our idea, at least, but if they get initiated on here...
Yeah, they're going to run right into them. He gets a throw in. The Cog's kind of a little bit of an issue, but Mushi's not really taking effect of them. He's trying to run the other direction, and barely going to survive the Dragon Slave. Not enough damage. A Warlock kill coming out. Now actually possible turn kill as Fly Solo's dropping here on that Rubik. Lifesteal is also not in the friendliest spot either. And he's trying to get run down by the Clockwork. Another set of Cogs ready to go, but they don't even need it. They get the kill on Rubik. First blood actually happens for Mineski in the end. That was looking so good for Clutch for the setup. And then it didn't work.
They just forced it a bit. They have this ward on the high ground, so they're going to see when they get to like this point on the map. They just hide around here, wait for them to go low ground, wrap around, and they can get an easier kill. Sure, the cogs are annoying, but you can't really go down that ramp and expect to get a kill. And the Fairy Fire from Mushi was like really, really clutch. Because Valina went for the Q instead of the stun, which I think would have netted them the kill if he didn't Fairy Fire. It was very, very close. But that not working for them, it's not too big a deal. It just kind of sucks. It's going to upset their morale.
I kind of almost like disagree a little, because the idea that it would have been a kill on Shadow Fiend, right? And that would have just completely ruined the idea of them doing the Shadow Fiend Clockwork from the beginning and getting those early, you know, the early souls added up. So all of a sudden now, though, he has 18 souls added up, along with Clockwork kind of boxing out the Lena. So his farm's very good off the bat right here. It's going to be a very intimidating target.
Yeah, it makes the lane nearly impossible for Lena to play without support, which means if the supports come here, the other lanes are easier for Mineski, which is not a good thing for them, because Nyx as a support, he ain't going to do crap to your axe.
No.
And then Omni, he's not going to be able to, like, get boxed out bottom just because of the nature of the hero, unless he oversteps. But these two heroes are not going to worry about him being here.
Yeah.
He's going to get some CS, get some levels. It's all going to be fine and dandy for him. But Slack's going to still thrive from that position, and your Lena's having this nightmare of a mid lane.
Yeah.
And then your top lane should also be like under a lot of pressure.
Adam is just there on that Clockwork to simply make Lena's life a living hell. In fact, he's going to go in with a haster now. Traps him in, sets up for some Shadow Fiend raises right here, but he's not going to take advantage. He's only level 1 raises so far, so yeah, not the most damage. And he just wants to focus on those last hits right here.
Yeah, and keep the lane on the hill as well. The Lena's actually doing pretty well considering, like, she has more actual CS.
Just noticed that too, actually. So despite the Clockwork's best efforts, I guess Lena is actually managing pretty well, popping the Shrine right there and back to full life and full mana for the most part. So using some abilities there, but yeah, it's actually well played by Armel so far on the Lena.
It just speaks to like how strong the hero is. This matchup would be like even worse if Mushi didn't have the souls to start with.
So, speaking of Lena, it's something that, 7.05 had that change of the talent trees and everything, and we've had the discussions, and we've even seen how Lenas aren't necessarily as ambitious on rushing the Bloodstone first item because of now the synergy. You don't get the respawn point, if at all, but not until level 15. The idea of maybe like the Yule Scepter first, is that something you like to see, or do you still like the Bloodstone idea?
I really like how Mushi plays it, where he goes tranquil yawls, just sets a different pace of the game with the hero, and is a bit more aggressive. I think that's something they could definitely look to do this game. But regardless of what he builds, I think the talent tree thing was actually a huge buff to the hero. Because as a support, getting the cast range is really, really nice. But as a core, you can get the light strike or anything, and you just flash farm. And you don't feel like you lose anything for it now.
Okay.
And it was a really weird change, because I don't think the respawn talent was actually a problem. It was just people complained about it on Reddit, so it got dealt with.
You don't say. Armel, by the way, he's in trouble right here. He wishes he had that respawn talent. No, he's going to be up shortly anyways, but, I mean, a double damage Shadow Fiend mixed in with just the lockdown of Clockwork. There's no chance for Lina at that point to get away. So eventually, he's done a hell of a job. In fact, he's still leading in CS, but may change here now as obviously he dies. And, again, it inevitably was going to happen, it feels like.
Yeah, when you're playing with no vision, and then the clock's just on the hill and you're down in the river. I'm not sure if this is how they play all the time, but they're leaving him on an island, and he's doing really well considering, but he has no vision around his mid lane because of this ward they placed to go for the first blood. And their other wards, I'm guessing, got de-warded. I didn't actually see it because, you know, I'm a shit caster and all that.
Horrible.
I know.
Well, I didn't notice either, so guess I'm in that tier as well.
Sorry, dude. I didn't mean to drag you down to my tier.
Top lane, what is Wen doing up here? He's actually trying to cut, but this goes back to, yeah, what is Nyx going to do against this? I mean, just kind of harassing him. He's actually sitting on a point. Okay, he's going to use a spiked carapace right there, and now with the assistance of Rubik, this could lead to a kill possibly. Onto the axe. He also now have Lifestealer even coming in. So when it's just a matter of time, I mean, he's going to be run down here. He doesn't really have a chance. Maybe going to turn kill some lucky spin procs, but no, open wounds happens, and one more auto attack. There we go. So Gabby gets some nice extra farm on top of that, killing a big creep. That is Axe. Top lane.
It was really good by the Rubik not to waste his lift. It looks really easy in hindsight, but it's like, if he doesn't use his lift, the Axe has no way of getting out. You can just run him down if he doesn't run straight away. And now they're smoking up, looking to get something happen in the mid lane. But I think the SF's just at a point where he's happy to jungle now, while these heroes are off the map.
Yeah. Let Clockwork take up some experience here. Again, it's even as a support role. I mean, it's even more so. You could argue he wants to get level 6 here, but oh, he sees him at the last second. Jeez, that was so close.
Yeah, he's so fast with the wind lace as well.
That's the infused raindrops on top of that. So it's mana regen, some damage mitigation. Yeah, solid start here. Nice job leeching some experience. But now Shadow Fiend's back after clearing out the jungle and going to do his thing, or continue to do so in the middle lane. Lifestealer, though, man, this guy's having a fantastic time up here. Obviously, he's had free farm and now a hero kill on top of that. He actually chose Gehenna Midas. So I mean, first of all, we'll make a note of that. Of course, is that too greedy, you think, or is that just fine considering the circumstances?
I think it makes a lot of sense. This isn't a game where he has an early vehicle to play with. The Nyx is going to take a bit longer to get level 6, and they don't really have a blink hero. So it makes a lot of sense. This is just going to make him stronger when they do hit that window.
Axe.
I really like it.
They're going on him. Spiked Carapace puts a stun on it as well on top of the Impel. They're doing a good job of just kind of kiting away, you know, make sure the spin procs don't do too intense damage. But meanwhile, Shadow Fiend was up here with the Clockwork as they're almost trying to get them to respond, but they'll kill off the jungle instead as they get their late and head back towards the middle lane. So similar to the last game, the struggles early on for Axe. However, you know, in the last game, he eventually got to a point where he had some clutch kills, including that final one really on the Weaver that, you know, where he didn't have the buyback as a result. So perhaps a similar game being set up for the Axe right here. Being played by Wen.
It looks like, yeah. I don't think they're going to be as dependent on him this time, though, just because of the clock. And if they kind of do the swap of lanes now, Axe can start power farming the jungle if the Shadow Fiend leaves him anything. And clock can leech the levels in the lane.
Slark?
The main thing with Mineski is that they don't really do anything for the first 10-15 minutes.
Yeah. Yeah, they definitely need some time right here. I mean, get the obviously level 6 on the Warlock, level 6 on the Clockwork. Get the initial item on Slark. He's going to try to finish the Ring of Kila. I was just about to mention, though, I mean, Slark, you got the top 4 heroes. He's 4th place, and he's actually even a little bit behind the Lena here as far as farm. I mean, who even has a death on top of that. And it's not like Slark has
really
been...
surprised.
Yeah, he's not like he has had an aggressive lane. It's just simply been an Omni-Knight down here at the bottom.
Yeah,
So
I mean, between the Warlock heals, I'd expect him to be fine in this lane. Like, you just trade hits from all of Venom, the Warlock heals you, and sure, Omni's annoying, but I'm surprised he was able to get this much. I was watching the other lanes, so maybe my opinion's just wrong. It's very possible. Because like, if you just look at the amount of pressure they're putting on him now, this is where Slark's really weak as a hero.
Oh. Wow, the heal comes out, and Shadowed Hand's not going to save him through that. So it's a 1-for-1, might be a 1-for-2. Those Nyx assassin also caught by the Cogs. The spiked Carapace not going to save him, and make it a 2-for-1. So at least they get a couple of kills, but man, they lose their Slark just as we're talking about he's struggling here early on. Ends up dying now.
That's not good for Mineski at all. Like, the Shadow Fiend's rotating to effectively gank, and you only get the supports. Sure, it's nice to kill the Nyx, but he'll be more than happy with like getting the gold and the experience from that kill. Tomb's about to hit in nearly level 6, so he'll be very, very happy with his early game, considering he's also got Arcane Boots money.
Yeah.
And the Cog's pretty much in the same boat, you know, about to hit level 6, and this should up the tempo of the game.
So Lifestealer, again, working with the Hand of Midas, 5,700 net worth. The Armlet, of course, is coming next in line. And yeah, you got Nyx with those Arcane Boots and level 6. So really good timings here for Clutch, it feels like. And matter of will he be able to capitalize. Bottom lane. Oh, he's going to run right by Sentry. He gets caught here. The Cog's coming out, and now he's trapped. The Cog block indeed. Nice job with the spike Carapace, at least, as the Warlock Golem is used. But actually, they're not going to get the kill on Nyx. Oh, no. This is horrible. The Rocket's not going to be enough damage either to finish the job, and that was a Warlock Golem commitment. No kills.
Yeah, that's huge. Like, the Omni just right place, right time.
Man, Nyx living. That is huge, but Omni-Knight definitely credit for that indeed. Top lane, though, Lifestealer. Did he overstep a little bit? He does have Infest.
Radiant's top tower is under
He's going to take over one of their creeps and try to survive that way. As what the hell was that about? Okay.
Curry got dunked.
No.
I think it was delivering the
Armlet.
The rest of the armlet.
Yeah.
No, wait. It can't be, because he hasn't...
No, it was. It's on there.
Yeah, it was the recipe. It was the recipe.
And then, so he won't have that now for another 240, despite this early farm.
I don't think it's too big a deal, to be honest. Like, he can fight without an armlet, especially knowing Mineski are lacking a wall at all. This is, until their axe gets a blink, their main tool of, like, counter initiation.
Yeah.
And unless Felina's getting caught with hook shots, I think it's very easy for them to take fights.
Oh, meanwhile, top lane, Shadow Fiend trying to run. Lifestealer, though, pops the rage, going in. Onto the axe in the background. The Cox going out blocking Lena, but Shadow Fiend will fall. Lena, however, is going to go down in return, so a nice little trade right there, but the Clockwork probably also going to end up going down. As they're just going to run on top of him. Impale's ready in one. Nice Cogs, but again, simply, oh, actually, okay, the wand TP, but no, the Impale comes out. Good attempt right there from Adam, but not to be. You know, something I noticed going into that fight, by the way, Shadow Fiend was sitting on 2,600 gold. Was Mushi there. So, to me, it just feels so like, why, especially early on in the game, why are you sitting on so much gold? I don't know if he would have lived if and he has actually got first item Shadowland on top of that. Okay.
If you can, like, build towards the Dragonlance or something, then it would make a difference. But if you're looking to just, like, quick buy the Shadow Blade, the components don't really make the biggest difference in the early fights. I understand the thing, but some pro players just, they prefer masking the item or having the flex to change if the pace of the game doesn't suit the item they were looking for.
Yeah.
That's a really sick call from the Axe, and now they're just going to get a free pick.
I'm trying to. Oh no, they're not going to. Nice TP.
Yeah, no golem for 2 seconds. I thought they had it up.
Okay. So they did have a set. I was wondering how Axe, but yeah, he when he actually called him, I'm pretty sure it was quote unquote blind, but they saw him initially, obviously, in the area with that sentry placement. So, but doesn't result in a kill. So, okay, Clutch Gamers manages to come out. Lena, by the way, the answer to the question earlier, and not only gets the LSA talent, of course, but he is going that first item Bloodstone. So going a bit more the traditional as of late, you could say, despite those changes even.
It just lets you farm so quickly. Like, you consider SF a flash farming hero, but Lena does exactly the same thing. If not more efficient, as long as you've got the mana to keep up with it.
Dire's middle tower is under
SF
attack.
just transitions into like a bit more of a scary right clicker sooner.
Bottom lane, Slark just simply going to try to push out Lifestealer. Slark, by the way, getting a hand of minus himself, and now working towards that Shadow Blade. So actually middle lane, though, initiation onto Armor here. Nice lift, though, push out, and the big Lacuna play to take on Clockwork. Regretting that decision immediately. Even Omni Knight being here didn't even necessarily need to save the Lena. That was all Rubik, really, as far as doing work. And bottom lane, Slark's getting low, actually. Here comes the Nyx chase, trying to secure the job. Slark, though, oh, nice TP. Just in time to escape. But, yeah, a couple of points to make here. I mean, first off, the Slark going the hand of minus himself. Kind of a different story than the Lifestealer, where Slark is struggling early on. Is that good?
This is more of a...
We
don't get anything there. But the... I don't know, I'm not a fan of this just because it feels like they're completely forfeiting a window of the game where they actually have some play. Because Zarax just gets his blink, and if he has a Shadow Blade now instead of 2,000 gold into a Midas and 800 in his bank, they have way more ability to fight. But what this says is that they want to play for a much later window where they aren't so scared of, like, because this Omni's turning around nearly every attempt that they do. And from our point, it might not look so huge, but they wasted a Warlock Golem and a Hook bottom, Omni saves the hero, and then they get away. Mid, as soon as the Omni TP's in, like, they don't even feel safe using their Axe Blink to jump. So they're just scared of this hero, so they're probably feeling they can't fight right now.
Well, top lane, Axe, he's got that blink. He's waiting for the prime target. Omni Knight's up here now. Oh, and this could be a chance. Be a nice kill on him if they can make it, but they're kind of...
the damage.
Okay, they're not going to go for it. Yeah, they decide it's best.
They need like a Lena or a Rubik to show that, like one of the squishier heroes. I say squishy, but Lena, so.
Middle lane, Clockwork, big double cogs. There's reaction coming from behind, but the call on top of that, that's the much better situation. So it ends up working out big time as Lena and Rubik get picked off. You also saw Nyx in the flank, but again, he couldn't get there in time. He does have Lifestealer inside. But they're just going to now be in an awkward spot of waiting around. However, if they keep pushing this middle lane, this could now work out in their favor because Lena still has about 30 seconds here.
And they have a sentry as well. Golem's up, so... That's, like, so huge for Mineski. That's something they have no right to get. And Clutch just kind of gave it to them on a silver platter, where their Omni was blatantly showing top with no TP because they saw he TP top. They make this aggressive move into a lane ward with like 2 heroes while their Nyx is too far away. Not the most mobile hero. And they get so punished for it. And the net worth swing is huge. Like, they were leading pretty comfortably before this, but that's a huge upset. And that might like make them play a lot more passive now.
Yeah. Nice.
Which I think would be the worst thing they can do. They need to kind of keep playing at the pace of the game that they wanted to set. Especially as Lifestealer went for a Solar Crest, which isn't the most common item, but I'm guessing
the call on it, Nyx, as he was just about to open on Amushi. In comes the Warlock Golem as well. Axe, though, there's that Solar Crest doing work, man. It will help cut down the Axe, but now Lifestealer, he's not in the greatest position. However, lift on the Shadow Fin. He gets the Rocket and the Souls off right on top of the Rubik, and Rubik one of falling right there. Lin in the background, call coming out from Win once again. Warlock sitting there with the upheaval, actually trying to slow them down. Nice Guardian Angel, though. Keeping Lena alive for the time being. The Culling Blade not enough, but the Golem trying to run him down. One more attack. Yes, he denies himself in the end. That upheaval, man, just so much slow. Even at level 1 with that channel. Well played by the Warlock right there. And sure, Axe died, but meanwhile, Sark also just pushing out the top lane. Well, that'll happen. So it seems like for sure Mineski coming out big time on top of that fight.
Yeah, the fact that Shadow Fiend gets away with one hit and the Slack just letting his team win fights for him while he's finding space on the map is huge.
Wait,
Yeah,
Axe spot back there?
yeah.
Holy crap, didn't even notice that. Okay.
It was worth it in the end, I think.
Oh, jeez. Bottom lane.
To get the Lina.
Okay. I didn't even realize he died initially, so that, okay. That makes a little more sense.
Radiant's middle
Meanwhile-
tower
I
is
tried
under
to
attack.
say it, but
So much happening. Oh, damage on Lifestealer, though. Okay, yeah, he's going to be able to be TP out fine, but jeez. They almost catch him. So, yeah, going back to, you're mentioning as that fight began right there. Oh, God, we might have another fight brewing, though. Nyx, no, he's...
typical SEA Dota.
Yeah, they're just not stopping, man.
I'm actually really surprised that there's so many fights that Mineski are actually winning based on like how they decided to itemize. But I think half of it's just Clutch messing up.
Or
This
a
is a
lot.
nice little pick though. The flush from Omni, catching them off. They might be able to get the tower off this.
Yeah. He didn't have his golem, so I guess, again, not the biggest deal, but at the same time, I mean, they can still hold. Requiem is ready. One more second. They go over the pickoff on a Rubik in the background. Clockwork, the big cogs on top of the call. Omni Knight, can he get anything off in time? He gets a heal off, it looks like. Meanwhile, Mushi with that BKB, but he has life shield. He doesn't give two shits about that BKB. He's sitting on top of him, however, the battery assault helping to keep him kite away. The pounce over the ledge, unsuccessful from Slark. And now Slark's in a bit of trouble. He does have Shadowblade in 1 second. Couldn't get it off in time. Dark back, Shadowblade. Yes, it's going to be enough. Mushi, or actually now, we got Ninja Boogie pointing back in. The up people slowing them down. Axe, a couple of spins. He eventually gets cut down, though. But the cogs will stop the rest. Meanwhile, Slark, he's still living throughout all this. And he's sitting on top of the Nyx. He wants to go for the kill himself. As out comes the Shadow Dancer. No, that's just a Dark Pact, excuse me. More than enough damage to take out the Nyx. So great play right there by the Slark. Not only barely surviving, but then ends up getting a kill in the final part of it.
Yeah, that's just... I'm not going to say RNG, but like Slack lives on 1 health, Mushi lives on like 1 hit. And that's happened 2 times in a row, at least for the Shadow Fiend, where he gets initiated on and skirts away with his Shadow Blade, or in this case his PKP. It just feels like Clutch are choking in the fights. Like how they're positioning their heroes, they have like this nice defensive posturing with 3 heroes here. And then Rubik's just sat over here waiting to get killed for no reason at all. So he has no impact in the fight, gives them A, a free kill, B, 1 or 2 stacks for Slark because he dies so quickly, but then it's just allowing the rest of the team to initiate for free. And they're getting these 2 hero calls that include Lina plus Omni. It's winning them the fights.
Shadow Fiend gets out before he gets caught right there. You have, obviously, again, Lifestealer not inside, actually. He's walking currently next to the Nyx Assassin. But, yeah, so going back to the Lifestealer, want to bring that up. I mean, he went that Solar Crest as the follow-up, really, to the Armlet. Now, he does have the Desolator on top of this, but it kind of makes you wonder, going a little bit more of the defensive item in the Solar Crest instead of straight into that Desolator, how maybe that could have been the difference to finish off the set hero of the Shadow Fiend, who barely got away those couple of times. So, but at least he does have it now.
The Solar Crest is also like 800 gold cheaper.
Yeah.
So when you get it,
That's true.
It's not something I've ever seen, but it makes a lot of sense when you think about it, just based on like, if you're not using offensively, it means Shadow Fiend can't like really annoy you in teamfights at all. And I think that rocket just scattered to smoke, so if Clutch can take advantage, sorry, if Mineski can take advantage of this, which they will by popping the smoke, Spark's just going to pounce away.
Yeah, he's good. No Shadow Dance even needed. In fact, speaking of Shadow Dance, Shadow Blade coming in. There's the Axe. He gets a call on a live to the Requiem from a distance right here. In comes the Warlock Golem on top of it. They're trying to kill the Omni Knight, but the Guardian Angel doing a good job of saving them, of course. Meanwhile, Nyx Assassin gets picked up. Ninja Boogie, though, he will end up falling. Slark, Lacuna Blade to the face, but the Shadow Dance pops shortly after. However, he needs to pounce up the ledge and run away. So once again, looking to barely escape right here, and it looks like it is, again, going to be enough to get away. But no, Axe, he's able to actually blink in time, but it gets lifted back in. Going for the TP. Do they have a stun follow-up? Yes, they do. And down he goes. So nice finish to the fight right there, at least picking off the axe. A 2-for-1, but again, they cannot kill these cores. Both Shadow Fiend and Slark managed to slip away in the end.
Yeah, and now Slark's hitting the Titu bottom. I think if they can get the Roche, they'll be happy with the fight. This gives the way to like force the engagements a lot more.
There we go.
But Mineski are doing a really good job of getting something out of every engagement, and the way they're kiting the fights with these cores is really scary. Because it feels like Clutch are about to peak. Not necessarily for the entire game, but if they don't get something huge with this window, their draft feels like it tapers off for a while.
Yeah.
Until like probably the next stages, where they can really brute force their advantage. So without it, I just feel like the amount of control through the golem and the claw and the hooks while Shadow Fiend hits your face is not going to favor them. Unless they can find a very chaotic fight, which they so far haven't been able to do. Mostly because none of their heroes push lanes in except Lina. It's Mineski that are the ones like splitting the map more, and that's the way to dictate how you play the game. The Slark hasn't been in half of these fights, and every time he has been, they've won it. Or if not, come out at least even. Against a team that should be winning fights at this stage.
Yeah.
Especially with Omni going for the Greaves. And I suppose the Solar Crest you can add to like the slightly more all-in.
Do we mention the idea of the diffusal blade possibility on Slark? I know, not against the Repel necessarily, but against the Guardian Angel, which clearly is a nice reset tool in fights. Would that be worth it, you think, or is that not necessary?
I like the idea, but I think he needs to be more ahead to get it at this stage. He might get one item and then go back for it, like he could go Scatty into Diffusal, maybe.
Okay.
But it's kind of Diffusal or Basher or Blink. It's what you feel like you get more value out of. Because so far they've done a pretty good job of having him find heroes that aren't getting hit by GA. He's in the fight they took here, the Nyx was on Mineski's backline, and then Slark just kills that hero, GA wears out, and then he can go on to the other heroes. So I don't know if they need it. They could even look for it on their support.
Clockwork, by the way, the Cogs coming out. They get the Lifestealer and the Nyx Assassin. They're going for the Lifestealer bomb. Unfortunately, they're left by themselves. Nyx goes down. Lifestealer, can he maybe get through the Omni-9 time? It looks like it. So at least he's going to be able to survive. But that was an attempt there at a Lifestealer bomb that unfortunately backfired for them. At least minimal casualties in the sense of only Nyx Assassin going down. So Lifestealer can continue towards that MKB he's building. Looks like right here, which is a nice preemptive build for the eventual Butterfly that's going to be finished on Shadow Fiend, actually coming up right here.
Yeah, eventual in 2 seconds. Well, I suppose he has to get the quarter staff from his
almost
stash, but yeah. And Lina finally is like able to make use of her solo kill potential, picking up the Shadow Blade. Also went for the damage talent, so going slightly more right-click based this game. I think it's a pretty good decision, considering the game's going to go a bit later. They haven't snowballed as much as they might have liked to. They're still in good control of the game, though.
Slark gets the free pick, and he knows that they don't have a stun now, so poured out safely right there. So Rubik being dead. Axe there for another 15, though. Lifestealer doing a couple, pushing the top lane, of course, has that Aegis. But without the Rubik, they are going to be down a man. Once the Sax comes back in 5 seconds, you just see Mushi walking and out, putting in the auto attacks. Again, the evasion, though, the Solar Crest. A little bit of an issue, and he'll easily get the tower. Although it was denied, actually, by Shadow Fiend. Well played right there.
And now they have a gem on Slark as well, so they have multiple ways to find this Nyx. And also the newly Shadow Blade Lina. I actually really like the fact they did this, because one of the few ways Slark dies in this game is if one of those heroes can find him.
Yeah.
And with this gem, he's going to feel so safe. It just means he has to play more calculated in fights, or they can't take as risky fights. Because if they lose this gem, it creates a lot of problems for them. Mineski is still at a point where any fight can go bad for them. Just through like the nature of Lina and Lifestealer doing so much damage so quickly. Their positioning is still very, very key. Once they get like maybe one more item on each of the cores, it gets a bit easier for them. Shadow Fiend to tank up a tiny bit more, and same thing with Slayer.
There's
I'd be very surprised if it...
Aegis reclaiming, but they're going to go in right here as they find Clockwork, actually, so it will be a quick pick. But Mushi, he's going to open on a Rubik. A couple of attacks, no, not enough for the kill initially. Gets lifted up, and now here comes a Warlock. Golem, Requiem, Sal's on top. It's going to not go off. Actually, just simply auto-attacks right there. Gets going to Omni Knight. Now Lifestealer drop in. The Fatal Bond's doing a lot of work here. Axe was picked off by Lina, it looks like, but now Lina on the run. She is very quick. And she is going to survive in the end. Maybe? Yeah, she should be good. Slark's catching up here, but again, they killed Omni Knight before he could get off that Guardian Angel. Obviously, the lockdown was superb.
Yeah, these Axe calls are huge. He has no items, effectively, but Hero does what he needs to do.
Yeah.
Just to blink.
Nyx almost gets caught there, but not enough. Slark, though, he chose to finish the Silver Edge here, as we see. On top of that gem, another 2,800 gold, and he's going to find the Nyx in the end. Oh, maybe. Okay, awkward. He can't chase. All right, Nyx will get away. Well, at least you get a tier 2 tower.
Yeah, the tier 2 is the main goal there. And the tier 2 mid is also very, very low. And now they're just able to get all this deep vision out, which is going to help the Slack play a lot more aggressively. And meanwhile, Mushi's just casually sitting at top of the network.
So
after a pretty hard game. But he's played it really well. Like, every time he's gone into these fights, he's managed to get away.
And he has this level 20 talent too now, which is so big for this hero. The +2 damage per souls.
It's insane. It's like 80 damage for free.
Yeah, it's I think 72 if I'm not mistaken, but yeah, it's very close.
Yeah.
That,
I like round numbers.
That's
easier.
Fair. Then level 25, I guess the attack range probably at that point you're looking to commit to. Or the shadow
the range damage is one of those talents you only take in, like Yule's Refresher, Shiva,
sure,
meme build that you do in pubs.
Well, yeah, when you're dealing with a Repel, a Rage, I mean, there's just no point to get that.
No, you want to play the hero to win, though, and not meme people.
Not spam Rages here, yeah. All right, well, Slark, you know, I was looking at the network chart. It's obviously gone a little bit better for Mineski, but it's still a decent lead for Clutch, and I'm a little surprised by that. But then looking at the breakdown, it's because of the supporting cast. Really, Mineski is, of course, struggling quite a bit overall. But as you mentioned earlier, I mean, Axe, he has enough. Like, he's doing his job, even with his minimal items. Now the Blade Mill, in fact, finished, so it's kind of a little bit skewed.
It's the same story for Clutch.
Oh, big chance. Oh, right at the split last second, and... Oh.
The server crash?
Jeez. Yeah, that was so awkward.
I thought it was just me.
No, that was...
Then I remember we're not in perfect world, so when something goes wrong, it's not just me. It's the English connection.
Yeah, that's... That timing, though. I mean, talk about the stun time. That had to be like 0.1 second right there on the TP. So he does catch him.
Dust, but I don't know if they can actually kill the hero.
I mean, Lifestealer's there. That's a lot of damage with that MKB that he's putting out.
Yeah, but right now they don't actually see the hero, and the stun's going to wear off by the time they see the hero, and then he can Shadow Dance, pounce away, and I think he can kite them long enough. Unless they can block the pounce. That's like their only hope.
Oh, he doesn't even dust.
He didn't even dust. Oh, he doesn't know. That's so sad. That was such a nice attempt.
Yeah.
It was good game sense on his part, but...
Money to burn.
Oh, well. The idea.
The pause probably messed it up.
They scanned this smoke, by the way. They saw it coming, so they have an idea that something's happening, so yeah, I see them retreating. So, talking about
I think
sense.
90% of that is from the pause as well. Like, when Slack gets caught there,
Oh, so we're going to get caught. There's a go on, and Nick's Assassin right off the bat. Repel is going to go up, though, trying to save the day with the auto attacks from Shadow Fiend. However, the Guardian Angel even invested, but only really on the Nyx in the background. They will cut Warlock, but he gets the Golem off in time. The Requiem of Souls also used right there, but now Shadow Fiend in kind of an awkward spot himself. Rubik is picked up, but Shadow Fiend just melts as soon as the Lifestealer gets on top of him. But Slark, he's looking to do work now. Has those charges of the Essence Shift starting to add up, but now in comes the Open Wounds. Another big call, the 3-man call on top of the heroes. However, just not enough spin damage. And Slark, though, he is going to run, so simply the getaway tool for him in the long run there. And, oh, they're going to find, okay, that's just the Golem.
That was the first fight that actually went well for them. And that's all because Mineski kind of blew their load on a very bad jump. They found the Nyx, used Axe Call, Hook Shot, SF BKB, got completely wasted by the GA, and then Lifestealer is able to find the Warlock, force out a bad Golem, so it doesn't actually matter if it's there or not. And then Lina also comes into the fight at a stage where she's not focused. And when this hero gets free roam in fights, she does a lot of damage. And she also has an axe. It's a good counter towards the double BKB that Mineski have gone for.
Yeah, I think that's, you know, something I was wondering how Shadow Fiend just dropped so quickly, but that makes a lot more sense, you know, even despite the BKB.
I don't know if he actually had it that fight.
Did she not?
Could be
Okay.
wrong.
Maybe she didn't.
But the hero died because Lifestealer was hitting it, and Lina stunned.
Yeah.
I don't think it was actually Laguna, but because the MKB completely cuts through all the Shadow Fiend defenses. He's only got 2,000 life and a tiny bit of armor, which again, you know, Solid Crest Deso, goodbye to your 17 armor.
Oh, middle lane. They're looking to jump Mushi. They'll get the jump. How's the follow-up looking? They bring him in, and the Laguna Blade snipe right there to finish the job. He's there for 75 seconds. Clockwork not there in time, and he's going to go for a TP out at least. Will be successful with that. Back here, Axe. He's caught by the O's. Warlock also going to get impaled stun, so a couple more kills to top it all off in favor of Clutch Gamers. A 3-0. Looking good for them, and you just feel Clutch Gamers is starting to really snowball to the finish of this game now. That's the idea here.
Radiant's middle tower is
Yeah, it's just like this Shadow Fiend has no items that actually matter when Lina can do that. And Lifestealer wasn't even there for that. And he just pops.
Yeah. There's the easy melee racks. Yeah, he is going to force the buyback, or Clutch Gamers are, but, you know, they got the objective, of course. They get the buyback out of Shadow Fiend. And you're right. I mean, the MKB to counter the Butterfly, and then he got the Axe to counter the BKB. So it's just, it's a tough game now for Shadow Fiend as we're scaling into the later part. I mean, sure, Slark is going to scale very well himself. In fact, he just got his Diffusal Blade now on top of that BKB, as mentioned earlier. Oh, he's going to get caught, though, or jumped as he's trying to run in here, trying to stop the Roshan, but they're just doing it way too damn fast. Axe, oh, he gets the call off, but the Aegis was picked up by the Lifestealer, and here we go. Guardian Angel off the bat as well. Slark in the background, going for Armel. But the Glimmer Kid with the Shadow Blade more so, going to save him, so he'll be fine. Axe does get picked off, and now Shadow Fiend lifted up yet again by the Yules. And there's the combo to finish the job on him. That's a dieback coming out for Mushi, a double kill for Armel. Rubik does fall in the back up, but now Slark, he needs to be careful about committing in right here. He will make his way out. But again, the Aegis still up for the Lifestealer, and they're very likely going to go more for the base now, knowing that Shadow Fiend's staying dead. They're going to get the pick on a Warlock. They also see Slark at the last second. He's just simply trying to distract him as long as possible, but if he dies right here especially too, which he is, again, he has a buyback, but I don't know if that's going to be enough to hold.
Very, very unlikely. Maybe if they see something shiny in the fountain and want to stay there for like 20 seconds. But yeah, this is really nice stuff from Clutch. Mineski just feel like they are irrelevant, honestly. Their items just don't do anything for them.
Well, they're going for a last stand right here. Might as well make the best of it, but the Laguna Blade again. As soon as that snipe comes out, you just see somebody's life will drop out in case being axed. And now Slark, he's trying to run away, pops a Shrine, but the Lifestealer is still full go. Yeah, this is it. GG, well played. Game 2 going to Clutch Gamers, and thus the game number 3 is on our way right here. But yeah, even in Game 1, Clutch Gamers looked good, but Game 2, yeah, the item decision-making, the team play as a whole, the Omni Knight was clearly a great final pick. I mean, he had clutch saves there in that game, and the Guardian Angel was definitely an issue.
Yeah, he made it really hard for Mineski to actually get any jump without having a lot of vision in the fights. It made the game play out a lot differently. Mineski did, however, make it very, very hard for Clutch, because they had a few really good early fights that they had no right taking if Clutch were a tiny bit more organized. So I think it was a huge draft win for Clutch in the end. I didn't necessarily agree at the start, but they were able to set a different tempo and they played for a slightly different window where I hadn't seen the lineup work as well. They proved me wrong. Good for them. Shit for me. Game 3.
There we go. Game number 3, our first semifinal of the day here, guys. And we got Mineski versus Clutch Gamers. We are going to game number 3, so really excited for that one. I'm sure you guys are as well. Guys, we got the ZOTAC Cup Masters Southeast Asian Qualifiers. Continuing coverage. Game number 3 coming up next. I'm Breaky CPK, joined by PQMC. Stay tuned, guys. We'll be right back.